Hello friends, hope you all are doing well. So in this video, we are going to take a look at creating a simple list page and making the home page a little more functional, uh, which we have created in the last video. So far in the UIB series, we have done 3 videos. The first one was installing the UXF demo plugin. The second video was creating an experience record and creating the home page. Third video we did was to creating the setting up the page, the experience properties, and going through the different components within the page which we created. Right. So this is the fourth video. So in this, we will make this home page a little more functional, and I want to keep this video very short. So in this, I'm planning to create a simple list page, and when we go and click on any of these visualization components, it drills down and shows a list of records in that simple list page. So let's get started. So the first thing what I'm going to do is I opened up the UI builder, opened up the experience record. I'm going to create a new page. Let me go and save and continue. Right, let's make it as I said, it's going to be a simple list. Simple list. All right. And let me check if I can use any of the simple list from the page template. Okay, so we have a simple list here and reference a page template and its data. I don't need that. I just need the contents of that particular template. Right. So let me go and create. All right. Click on done. Okay, so this simple list page doesn't have anything. It just have a list component. The simple list component is available by default to this page, and we have a lot of properties. Right, properties is set for this page. One is the list title, second one is the table, third one is a query. Right, and we do have a few more properties like disable inline editing. I don't know what it is. And the third one is a state variable, wrap list text. Mostly, as we discussed in the last video, these these are page properties. As I mentioned here, you click on the body of the page on the left hand side, and you come to the config, and you click on edit. You see the different properties. Wherever you see context.props, those are page properties, and you can come here to the body of the page. You click on the under the config, you click on edit. You should see all the properties, uh, wherever all the properties listed out here, right? Like the context.props, wherever you see context.props dot some value, some name, then you should come here and check this out. What are the page properties? We saw list title, we saw query, we saw table, and we also saw disable and line editing. So the rest of the page properties are by default available. So let's cancel this, right? And let's look at the required parameters for this page, right? So this page is right now doesn't have any required parameter. We will need one required parameter to be added for this page, and we will also need an optional parameters added to this page. I'll tell you why we need it. So let's go back to our home page once again. So what we are trying to achieve here is when we click on this count, it should drill down. So basically, in the runtime, when you click on total monitor records count, the record count, on each of these visualization clicked event, it should drill down and show me a list of records. For example, if I click on this count 5, when I click on it, it should take me to the simple list page and show me the list of this 5 records. The same way, if I click on total monitor records count 8, it should drill down, it should go to the it should take me to that simple list page. It should show me this 8 records, right? In the same way here, if I click on this, if it is, since when I click on this any of these slices here, then it should drill down, it should take me to that simple list page. That is what we are trying to do with that simple list page, right? And even if you see on this simple list, we have this view all clickable uh, button, clickable link. So it's not a button, it's a link, view all link. So when I click on this view all, right now it doesn't do anything, but when we set that page up, when we set the simple list page functional, then when I click on the view all, it should take me to that simple list page and show me all the records, right? So that's what we are going to do. Now let's see what is this, what are the, how does it, how can I drill down, how can I redirect from this page to that page? So as I mentioned in the previous video, each of these visualization components are having three things. One is the configurations, one is the layout, third one is the event. So for this one, we have a visualization clicked event. So when I click on add new event handler, so basically what I'm telling is that when this visualization clicked event happens, then this is the action which you need to do. Basically, you need to take me to that simple list page. So here there are certain handlers which is predefined. We have something called as link to destination. We can even script this. We don't need this. We can even use a client script. There are certain helpers function which we could use to do the same activity. So since we have to minimize the coding, but since it is going to be a low code as the UIB is projected as, we should try to use whatever it is available here on the available out of the box event handler. So we have link to destination. I click on link to destination. Now select destination. What am I supposed to do? Okay, take me to this simple list page. But we need to feed the simple list page with something, right? It should know that, okay, I have to display this list of this particular table's list of records, right? But how do we do that? We need to pass some arguments, right? So we need a table argument which needs to be passed. We also need query, right? Here we need to know what are the list of records from the social media monitor table I need to display. So that I need to display total monitor records, which means all active is equal to true or active is equal to false. I need to display on that simple list page. So we have to pass two parameters now, two arguments now. One is the table name, the second one is the query. Query, what I meant by query is what we have defined here on the data source. This exact query, whatever we have defined here, for that, it needs to be passed into the simple list page. So now let's go into the simple list page. Discard changes. Okay. So let me create a required parameter. Click on add table. Okay. So I need a table as a required parameter. I could even say that I also need query as a required parameter. So in this here, I'm going to create query as a optional parameter. Let's see what. So it is going to be query. I could say anything like list query or anything. Save. Now you might have noticed the change on the URL here, right? So when I added an optional parameter, see this, it has come. You click on this if you want to pass something here, right? So you can click on this URL on the top, the relative URL. You can click on it. It should give you all the arguments what this page accepts. So here the page is accepting table and the optional parameter is query. So let's look at what is a table name for monitor. Control C, right? Control V. What happens? Voila. What is this? So it is displaying all the list of records on that table. I'm not passing in any query, but still it is displaying. So when I pass an argument on the body of this list component accepts to three properties as we discussed. One is a table, one is a query, and one is a list title. So here you see that this list of records is displayed. I just passed table as an argument to this particular page from the home page. I'm not passing query right now. I'm not passing list title, but it has displayed all the list of 8 records, all the list of 8 records in that monitor table. Now, if you see this, it is missing a title parameter, which is not mandatory, which is not a required parameter. So let's create an optional parameter here. Discard changes, cancel. Let me save this. Okay, let me go to optional parameter. I have something called as list title. So you need to name this, whatever the parameter name which you are creating for this page, it will show up here. For example, if I take this off, you type at context dot props dot, you get to see this query list title because it's already added here in the page properties. That's why it's all showing up, right? So now let's go and create optional parameter, one more, and it is going to be list title. Click on save. It's done. So now if I click on this, I could say some title. Yes, some title has come here. And if you notice how the URL is building, right? So the simple list, so this is a relative, this is kind of a path which is um which which it formulates, like it's now slash social media slash work ws, that is on the page, that is defined, that part is defined in the page registry, sysux page registry record slash simple list, which is the name of the page, and it is taking the required parameter, which is a table. And if you notice, the second optional parameter is coming after params. Params is whatever after params, it is going to be the optional parameters. So now let's say, what is it? Type is positive, right? So here, if I click on this and I would say type is equal to, let's say this, let's say if this works or not, type is equal to positive. It is not working. So which means test values are restricted to alphanumeric characters. Select special characters which are type alphanumerical characters. Test is equal to positive. All right. So you don't need the codes there. So it is type is equal to positive. So this is what this is how this page is working. It accepts two optional parameters and one required parameter. So we need to pass all these arguments from the home page. So let's go back to the home page. Let's click on save. Right. So let's go back to home page. Now I'm going to click on this. Uh, I'm going to click on add a new event handler, link to destination, select destination. Okay, once I select the page simple list, you see that all these the required parameter shows up, query shows up, list shows up. I could just go and hardcode the social media monitor table value here because this is a social media workspace and I'm expecting only one kind of a table to be passed into simple list. If there are multiple tables, how would you handle that? So for that, we need to do this like @payload. See this? You get to see everything here. You just need to type it payload. And I'm saying that payload.params.table because this visualization component passes table. What is a query? Data visualization components can pass payload.params.query as well. And what is going to be the title? Let's check what is the title at payload.title. So these are the payload is coming from. So you'll be wondering what is this payload, right? So if you want to know what a payload, what the payload contains, right? You could even do something like this, right? And let me add it. So I'm also passing it like from here, a payload dot title, right? Click on add. You could what you could do is that uh, if you don't know what needs to be passed in as part of this, you could simply create something like this. You could create console. You could just do a print of the payload object, right? Console.log. Since the payload is part of the event, right? So if I type event.payload, it would just give me a JavaScript object. So in order to convert into something readable, you do a stringify, right? Save, and once that is done, right? And then you could add it here. Okay, logging the scripts, add, and I am not sure how do we move this up, right? So let's check what happens. Okay, now for this visualization component, I have configured link to destination and also I have kept a logging to just to know what this event.payload contains, right? So here you come, you just do a refresh of the page, and before that let me put the console here, and then let me come here, clear console, and then do this or reload. This is a payload, right? So clear console. Now I'm going to click on this count. So it should show me, it should redirect me to the simple list page, and the same time it should also show me the what does that event.payload contains. All right, see this? So all these buttons which you see here, it's part of the simple list component, the list component which is part of the simple list page. So it has printed the statement. So it redirected, and it also executed this client script. It printed this API.state some variable value, which is a client state variable value which we have set on the home page. And it also printed what does this event.payload contains, right? So if I go here, I could see what does the payload object contains. It contains a title, and it also contains params. So we have passed params, uh, uh, these attributes like list title. We have passed it to the simple list page. So we said at payload dot params dot list title. We also said at payload dot params dot table. We also said payload dot params dot query. What is a query? What is a query? Let me check. There is no query for this because this doesn't contain anything on the visualization component, right? So here, when we looked at the visualization component, there wasn't any query. So if I look at it, there is no query here. There is no filter query there, right? So now let's do the same thing here for this total positive reviews, because positive reviews is having a query called type is equal to positive, right? So what is happening? The link to destination, I did not put it here. This visualization clicked event. Okay, so link to destination, select destination, app route, simple list. All right, let me say at payload dot, give me this payload dot params. And here we should see that type is equal to positive for the params query value. The query attribute should contain that. Now I could say, I could even hard code here total. I could say hard code. Okay, so this is, if you want to type it something, hard code something, you need to click on this icon. And if you want to do some dynamic value, then you click on this, then you get the all the properties and stuff, right? So at payload dot params dot uh, payload dot title, yeah, at payload dot title, because this is what it contains. There is no, as we saw here, this is at payload dot title. It is not within the params, right? Params contains list title and table and query. Okay, so click OK. And here I'm also saying at payload dot title here, apply, click on save, come back here, do a hard reload. Now I click on this. Okay, let me clear the console here, the console. And now I click on 5, total count, the total monitor values. It did not show because I did not add the script here. I should have done that. Save. Now come back here once again. I'm closing this. I am refreshing the page. You don't need to do a hard reload every time. Click on 5. Now you see this. You have the list. Let me magnify this. See this? You have the title, which is total positive reviews. You have the params, which is containing, which is an object which contains list title, one of the attribute, and it also contains a table, and it also contains a query, right? So it's working. Now, similarly, this also would work exactly the same way. I'll show you for this one, the view all. There should be an event for view all click, right? So when I select this particular component on the page, and you go to the events, and you will have this view all clicked event, right? View all clicked event. What do you want me to do? Okay, go and Let me redirect. Go and redirect me to this destination page, which is a simple list page. Simple list and all the steps, all the arguments what I need to pass, which is table. Here it is not payload.params.table because that was as part of the data visualization payload. Here it is part of the payload itself, payload object itself. So we just say payload dot, let me say if payload dot table, payload dot query, payload dot title. Click OK. I don't need to mention title advanced. Let's see. Click on add. Click on save. Refresh again. Now I'm going to click on this view all. Let me clear the console. View all. What happens? Total positive. It hasn't cleared something. Hard reload. It shouldn't be total positive. It should say list of monitor records. The tab is showing as total positive, which is a previous one. Total positive reviews. So let's see what happens here. It says loading. Okay. So now let's give that view all. Let me go here. Title advanced. That reload dot list title. Apply. Click on save. Okay. Close this. Come on. I can do a normal reload. I don't need a hard reload or uh, empty cache reload. I just click on view all. Yep, it works. List of monitor records. So you have the list of monitor records, and the simple list page is fully functional now. And if you notice, parameters are the URL parameters here. You should see the table name, you should see the query, and you should see the list title here. All right, so that is it for this video. I think I've covered. Now the pages are functional. I need to fix this. It is almost similar to these ones. This one was a little different, but uh, all the top three components are almost the same. All right then. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.